Ali, 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 yeah. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Worship America, want to rise upon the 7th. Give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere. And therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you to another late night library session. I am your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Amo Hadi Shabazel. My ancient Comedian high name being the same as Dr. Shedawin Mintiel Mohajid Shepsuel. And we most definitely have powerful measure to bring on the manifest, and honors to all of our family tuning in. Be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe. Honors to you, good brother, born dog, and honors to all our family, because we have to give our family a time to be able to digest, the information that we put out here, so they can go over it and, be ready for the next lesson. As you can see, everything that we building on, we pretty much pick up where we left off. And that way our family, if they following suit, so to speak, they gain more understanding every time we come back around. So we use the hammer of repetition a little bit to pound in the truth and to make it, become a part of every part of our consciousness. That's important. And it's imperative that we demonstrate that way. So this is actually part 3 of the plane sphere of Iunet, aka Dendera, the divine light and the angelic ladder of Ascension. So y'all already know we got some grand drawing to bring forth. I told y'all, I'm like the well that never run dry, like Zemzem, in the holy city Mecca. This is a powerful demonstration, family. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. We got some powerful information to bring to you. We're going to present it. We're going to give you the sources. All the source material is right here. We working with it. We utilizing the tools, and we're going to give our family instructions on how to utilize the tools as well. So without further ado or delay, what we're going to do, we're going to actually enter into this special measure by sharing the screen so we can get our family acquainted with this information that we have. And again, we're picking up where we left off for those who are seeking more understanding in what we have already been building on. We want to be consistent with that. We have little things we have to do, in the personal side of life when it comes to dealing with, work and so forth and so on. And so that's why we go here and go there. But I'm trying to be as consistent as possible with this. But in the times when I'm not on here, it's always good to go back and just go through some of the videos, scan them, check them out, and pick up, where we left off, because there's some heavy information. Every time we come, it's new information being brought forth. And we'll demonstrate this one as well, just as another open discussion, so to speak. So let me get to the business over here. So we're gonna start off with the Book of Fire, the Exhuming of a Nation, and then we're gonna go into the rest of the information. Our Grand National Chairman did a grand job with this information on the serpent. This is actually where we left off at in our previous Moorish perspectives that we had in Saturday too. So you should check that out as well. But what's being said here? Man, know thy own serpent. Know thine own serpent. Because we have been told that a serpent, represented something outside of the self. And, there are many depictions of this if you want to get into the biblical narrative. Too many to discuss right here. But nevertheless, we learn that the true serpent is within you. Now, that can be a good thing or a bad thing based on the level of vibration that you're on. Because again, we seen in ancient Kemet, the Nesut Bidi, the Mesu Ra Mesu, the Per Some people like to use the term federal. They had a serpent protruding from their headdress, from the frontal portion, actually where the frontal lobe of the brain is located, i.e., all seeing eye, so forth and so on, third eye, however you want to call it, Ajna chakra, whichever terminology you would like to use. So let us go into this right here. And we also know there's a serpent that deal with the lower self too. But it says, now let us leave the geographical location and sojourn into the essence, garden of the soul, the east, the God state. In other words, we're dealing with the microcosm. We know the microcosm is man himself, and the macrocosm is the cosmic universe. It says, where man's will complies with the deific will of his creator. This is the main area that has been kept secret from the so-called Negroes, blacks, and colored people. Two things are to be pointed out in setting this historical Moorish stage. Isa, man formed in the perfect God state, was so sublime and pure until he was created above the angels. For a breakdown on the angels, read Religion. The Holy Quran of Mecca states he was taught the names of all living things and then presented to the angels by Allah. None of the angels could name any creature made by Allah. That's Surah 2, Ayat 32. When he said, name these if you are knowledgeable. And all of them basically say they didn't have knowledge. So it said that man was taught the nature of these things. It says the angels were told to bow down to this God man. Y'all hear me talking about this all the time. All of these creations were made by the great God. But one of the angels bucked. Yep. Just straight up bucked and said, I ain't bowing down to that dude. Hell, I'm the greatest thing ever made. I'm the successful New Jack. And Adam is only human. Anyway, the true words are written in Surah 2 Ayat 34 of what this peculiar angel said and did. The Quran calls this fallen angel Iblis. It's not strange that we hear the term Iblis, we think about the term bliss, and we say ignorance is bliss, right? Ignorance of the law of the higher self is no excuse either, is it? So let's go further. It says Azael. Azael is the first and true divine name of Iblis. Azael, the angel, it says this created thought was seated beneath the throne, the higher self of Allah. Iblis is this angel's name after this fall. The Greeks later uh, called this state Diablos. And you can see the connection between Iblis and Diablos if you remove the D. And you get Diablos. But it says, which basically means the devil or the adversary, right? The serpent. Now, nearly everybody gives the snake a bad rap. Most scholars fail to realize that the serpent did not come to the garden, it came with the garden. No, the snake did not crawl from Eden, Africa, to Arabia and lay in the gap for an unsuspecting first family. It was created with the god and goddess, well within the sluggishness of their own wills. Yes, the serpent is merely a carnal thought pattern developed from the human desires of finite things, or finite things. Drew Ali said, question, who made the devil? Answer, Elohim. See, we don't teach that Allah made the devil. We teach, that Elohim made the devil. Right? The seven eyes of Allah. Question 96 and 98 in our 101s. It was formed with thy flesh, but not before thee. Moorish Holy Quran 38, chapter 10. Man's brain is physical and his mind is thought activity. You see? Very important. Very important. So man's brain is physical, but that thought activity is what a serpent come about at. So, like I said, you had a vibration of the serpent that has to do with wisdom. This is the symbolic expression of that coming forth from the crown of the god men of ancient Kemet. But then you have the concept of the serpent, which represents a lower vibration. But we can raise the vibration if we were to raise up what we call serpent power, from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown, and this represents what we call enlightenment. This is a divine thrill, that sends a divine chills throughout the body, so to speak, and resurrect all of the dormant cells, in different measures within us, so to speak. For those who don't know, that demonstration that deal with Iblis, a lot of people like to try to make it a spook, spirit, or some type of demonic devil outside. This is no different from the term Lucifer, before the fall, same vibration, just different expressions. You see, same truth being told, but just through different channels. So once we understand that right there, we come into a clear conception, of the information. In fact, there's a grand breakdown, on Iblis and what Iblis represent. They don't hide this truth in the Grand Quran. I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to just get that definition before I move on. Let me see here. I should have a dictionary copy already up here. If not, I'll pull it up. Oh, there you go, right there. Yep. Open. Okay. And we're going to take you into the definition of ablasa. Basically the name of Iblis before it became known as Shaitan and devil and all that other stuff. It's not letting me go that way. That's all right. Well, we'll do this here. We got more than one way to get in there. Going on up here, because we ain't got time to be playing with no dragging computer right now. No. Okay, let's see. All right. Like I said, be sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe, family. And let the people know that we here. Because everybody need to get some of this insight right here. We're going to always give it to you as it is. That way you can correct a lot of these people, that have it twisted. And nobody can deceive you. We're going to make sure of that. So when somebody go to talking crazy, you seen it with your own eyes, you know what it say. They can't just tell you anything. That's what we doing. We trying to arm our people with this information. You don't even have to believe, in being Moorish or being a part of Islam or whatever the case may be. We just want to arm you with the information. That's all. Let me see right here. Okay. Go a little further. Okay, I know where this is going. A little further. Let me do it like this here. There we go. Okay, that's 62. Okay, so let me go back up here to page 62. Actually, it'll be down here parts here. 62. Okay, I'm a little further down. Take it up here. So I want y'all to have the full definition of this word when they talk about Iblis, in the Quran. There's something you're going to learn about this here. We're talking about a serpent now. There's a serpent in man, and then there's a serpent that represents an expression of creation coming into being. All these are different expressions. As it is above, so it is below. See right here, this is the root word to the word Iblis. It's called Balasa, Ablasa. Notice the definitions. It didn't say nothing about no devil outside of shaitan. It says a person of desperate character. A person of desperate character. That's first definition. It says there is no verbal root of this word in the first form. Ablasa, it says to be overcome with grief. So this was the nature of Iblis. It's saying that this is a person of desperate character. Desperate people do desperate things. You see? Desperate situation call for desperate results, so to speak, right? And when you have somebody that's overcome with grief, they can be very dangerous to themselves and others as well. You see? Because anybody can get it, right? Even your closest friend. But anyway, it says, be desperate, struck dumb with despair, remain disheartened, gloomy, stupefied, remain speechless. So this is one that has become silence as a result of their ignorance. See, Iblis, it is derived from Ablasa, which means who despaired. Good and virtue became less or decreased, who became broken in spirit, mournful, who was perplexed and was unable to see his way, who became silent on account of grief or despair, who was cut short of silence in argument. Well, we got a lot of people like to demonstrate that Iblis degree when they can't deal with this information, huh? When they can't have their way, huh? It says, who become unable to persecute his journey. It says, who was prevented from attaining his wish. The Greek word dyslos, from whence the English word devil is derived, is probably Hellenized from Iblis. It is a fact that the Greeks derived a good deal of their mythological concepts from the much earlier Arabian civilization, right? See, you didn't know that, did you? On the other hand, There is no evidence that the pre-Islamic Arabs borrowed this or any other mythological term from the Greeks. Iblis was not one of the angels. Iblis, when he was in that state, was not one of the angels. But when he was in the state of Azazel, he had an angelic level. These are different degrees. Angels, cherubims, seraphim, all these represent different stations. This is what we have to know too. You see what I'm saying? Just like Lucifer wasn't considered one of the angels. Lucifer was considered cherubim or seraphim, that type of vibration. You see? He was more of being over them, being able to be a leader. In order for him to be a leader, he had to hold a station of something that was higher than, so to speak, have a higher rank than just being a mere angel. You see? So it goes on, it says, he was one of the jinn and transgressed. See? And a jinn is basically head in line, running neck to neck with, again, what we deal with when we talk about cherubim and seraphim, because the jinn is neither good nor evil. Same thing when you deal with cherubim and seraphim. Cherubim and seraphim is not good nor evil. You see what I'm saying? But it says he was one of the jinn and transgressed. And they give Surah 18 ayat 5. In the verse 236, he is called Satan. That's another station. Because he is fell now from the station of Iblis, and he goes into the state of Satan. We ask, well, what are the names of the descendants of Adam and Eve? And we say Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast. These are different degrees that one can fall through. Lucifer was said to be beautiful, the bright and morning star, and all this type of stuff. They gave him a grandiose expression, right? But then when he fell, Lucifer, he fell into Satan. Then he became devil. Then he became dragon. Then he became beast. So when one falls into the state of being Satan or Satanic, this is when they go to and fro in the earth, seeking whom they gonna devour. That's why it was asked in the book of Job, where you going, Satan? Same thing in our questionnaire, the 101. Where you going, Satan? I'm going to and fro the earth and up and down in it. Well, if you represent the earth, then what do you think going to and fro and up and down you represent? Some type of influence has taken over or entered your person or your being, right? This earthbound body. It's become a host for somebody else. The hostess for the mostest, right? Legion, for they are many, huh? So anyway, so there is no spookism when it comes to a God or a devil. All this has to do with the lower self. The devil and the God can be found within you. All you got to do is choose which one of them. A million ways to be destroyed, but one by which you can be saved. And that's the straight way of Ascension, going into the heights of your own divinity. You see? So one goes from the state of Satan and then they become devilish. This is when they really get diabolical. This is what we call the inverted star. You notice our star is an upright star. But if you turn that upside down, if the head represents the point that's normally upright, then when you turn it upside down, that means the thought pattern has become inverted. That means that one has fallen in the vibration of their thinking into what we call the lower self, or the manifest plane of existence. They can't think no higher than a whale's turd, so to speak. But anyway, so after they get into their demonic state, they devilish state, and go to taking this demonstration throughout, the realms of fallen humanity, so to speak, then they move from a state of dragon. Well, really, let's listen to it. Dragons are said to be down into the very deepest abyss when they are described mythologically. Even in the Piscean records, the Bible, dragons have always seemed to be in a dungeon somewhere in the lowest depths, of the earth. So in the lowest depths of this earthbound body that we have, it's a dragon in you. You know, if you fall down there into that hellacious condition, you see, listen, drag you on down, like the brother Drag On used to be the rapper. You know, drag you on down into that bottomless pit of what we call the insufficiency of human knowledge. Huh? And then last but not least, you got the beast that's down there too. So when you go into a state of being bestial, you done went into the you done went into the depths of hell, basically. Hellas is what they used to call it in Greece. You don't went into the grave, because that's what the grave represent. The grave really represent hell. So therefore you are buried alive. You walking around, you're talking, you're saying something, but you ain't saying nothing. Talking a whole lot, but ain't saying nothing. So anyway, when you fall into that state of bestiality, you don't care what you do. You know, you already know the levels and extents our people can go to. Like I say, they be saying they on demon time when they get to that particular level. Nevertheless, it goes on. It says in verse Surah 2, Ayat 36, he is called Satan. Iblis has been described in Surah 2:34 as disobeying God, while the angels have been described as being ever submissive and obedient. So when he was given that ability, he came up from the level of the ranks as Azazel, from the angelic ranks, and he got into the realm, like I said, the cherubim, seraphim degree, the jinn degree. This is when he started thinking, you know, that he was sure enough to stuff. This is when he thought, like in the Piscean records of the Bible say, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I'm going to be like the Most High. Yeah, that's what he said now. That's what the book say he said. I'm just quoting the book. You know, make you think. You know, make you think. But anyway, so, you know, angels, they don't know how to be disobedient. Now, we say an angel is the thought of Allah manifested in human flesh. So, if you have angelic thoughts, you know, that are within you, and where they manifest at? Above your neck. That's where you're thinking at. If it's a thought of Allah manifested in the flesh, then they have to manifest in the flesh as a thought. And so I ain't never seen the thoughts of a creator disobey him. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't have a will strong enough to disobey. All they do is hear and obey. It's in their nature. They don't feel no type of way. They don't feel slighted. They don't feel like God trying to son them. It's just the nature of an angelic thought to be an angelic thought. But you know, when you give anybody know anything about a cowboy, you give a cowboy a little rope, or you give a Negro a rope, he think he a cowboy. You give a devil a rope, you know, give him a little rope, you know, he say he was in a high state of vibration, give him a little rope and you're going to expose him every time. And that's a principle that you can really manifest just in your daily life. But anyway, it says, jinn are from fire and angels are from that of light. But we say, well, fire is a form of light too, but not the light that we talking about. One aspect of the fire, smokeless fire, had to do with the passions and desires. You see? That's what produces the potential, you know, of, you know, one demonstrating either a passion to stand in defense or a passion to stand against. That's why we are told that we use our compass to draw a circle around our passions and desires and keep them within the bounds of righteousness. That's one of our carpenter's tools, the compass, right? So this light that was on the manifest as angelic, this represents a whole nother vibration, family. That's a whole nother frequency. The frequency of fire and light is two different things. But anyway, it says the fact of his rebellion is repeatedly stressed in the Holy Quran. Hence, Iblis could not be an angel. The theory of fallen angel is contrary to the Quranic teachings. So we don't call him a fallen angel, even though he had an angelic post at one time. He had moved from Azazel. It gives the history and the teachings of Islam about Azazel. It mentions that, but he had left that station. He had done, pretty much been bumped up to becoming, of the jinn, to give him the ability and authority, so to speak, to be able to govern those beings that was under his watch, so to speak. That's why when he fell, he took some with him, because they naturally obeyed what he was saying. Because if he told them something, then surely it had to come from the creator who gave that order. So they would hear and obey. You see? But anyway, it says Yublissu, he will despair. Mublissin, these are all words coming from that same root of blossom, who are silent with grief, who are despairing, and it's used in the Quran by 16 times. So we notice that this main definition of this word Iblis means one that basically couldn't have their way. So them sound like people to me. Them sound like people. And we even have a breakdown. It tell you who the jinn race was among the jinns. Going back to the time of, the Neanderthal, and, this book go into that. This Quranic dictionary does. So we definitely talking about people and not no spooks. You see, when we get to talking about it. In fact, I'm going to give this to you just as a bonus before we go further. Hold up real quick. I'm going to show it to you, and then we'll go deeper into this. That way our family can have some more understanding. We want to make sure you get it. We ain't going to reap in no scanty way. We want to give it all to you. That way you quote me right when you quote me. Okay. It's a whole long definition that was given in relation to Adam. And it actually tell you it was over 100,000 Adams, according to the teachings, being demonstrated in Quran. So the Adam of 6,000 years ago, they talked about biblically. He wasn't the first man. We know about the pre-Adamites. We taught about that. You go look at some of the previous measures we demonstrated. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to just give a portion. Actually, it's going to come from that same area of definition. Okay, we are almost there. I just want to show y'all this about. Okay, here we go. We in the area right now. Because it was speaking on definition of Adam. Right here. Given the definition, it says Adama. Adama. It means to reconcile, be brown. Sound like to me reconciling, the ways as opposed to being like the jinn. But anyway, it says be brown. Adam means human skin. Human being, man, person, intelligent person, brown man, brave man, human race, mankind, civilized person, a chief, honest person, kind and polite person, a person who is created from different substances. So they touching on this atom from all different degrees, from dealing with what we would call the protoplastic atom, as we showed you all before, the first form human, as it represents humanity as a whole, or it represents here person in possession of different powers, one who enjoys the comforts of life, one who is by nature social and hard, one who has heirs. It says Adam, who lived about 6,000 years ago, is generally taken to be the proper name for the first human being. But the Holy Quran does not affirm that he was the first man, or that there was no creation before him. The word Khalifa, which means successor. In order for you to be a successor, that means you got to come after somebody. So it don't support how they try to make it seem in the biblical. And even the biblical don't really support, Adam made on Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 as, the first Adam, if you read it right. But it says the word Khalifa used for Adam in the Holy Quran, Surah 2, Ayat 30, is reference to the fact that he was a remnant or successor of an old race, and was selected to bring into being a new moral revolution. The word Khalifa is also used for one who comes after and stands in the place of someone who precedes him. So, canonically, it lets you know that man was on the manifest before Adam. You see, Ibn Abbas says there were races known as Jinn and Hin and Din that lived before Adam. See, it says maybe he was referring to Neanderthals and similar other races. See, it says great Muslim scholars were of the view there were hundreds of thousands of Adams before this Adam, whose reference is made in the Holy Quran. The three words, that are used in reference to dealing with man in the Quran is Adam, Al-Insan, and also Basharim is another name that's used in reference to man. You see, these are names that's used, But anyway, it also say the world has passed through different cycles of creation and civilization. This Adam is only the first link in the present cycle in civilization and not the very first human being in God's creation. The Holy Quran does not follow the Bible in holding that the world began with the birth of Adam. It says, and neither the Holy Quran claims that all mankind who are now found in different parts of the world are the progeny of the self-same Adam, or that the races which lived before this Adam were entirely swept away before he was born. Adam was not the first man. Mankind existed even before him. He was a Khalifa. You see, so he came in his particular cycle age. He was the beginning of the particular cycle age. You see, it says Surah 2 Ayat 30 again, a successor who followed someone. Muhyiddin ibn Arabi, the great Muslim mystic, says that he saw a tablet of a building which showed that the building was erected hundreds and thousands of years ago. Again, he says that once he saw himself in a vision performing pilgrimage with some other people. And I inquired, this is Ibn Arabi speaking, one of them, who are you? And he said, of your old ancestors. How long is it since they died? I asked him. And the man replied, more than 40,000 years. But this period is much more than that which separates us from Adam. In other words, he's saying this is longer than Adam is said to exist, said I. And the man replied, of which Adam are you speaking? About that Adam who is nearest to you, or of some other? And then I recollected the saying of the Holy Prophet to the effect that God had brought into being no less than 100,000 Adams. And between each and every Adam, there's a period of 17,000 years. And I said to myself, perhaps these people who are said to be the ancestors of mine were of the previous Adams. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it goes on. It talks about, Surah 3. Well, no, this is from Fatuhat al-Makkiyah 3 and 607. It says, again, the shedding of blood, because the angels made that statement when Allah said he was finna create man. Say, you gonna create somebody that's gonna shed blood? How would the angels have that knowledge unless they seen some blood shed prior to that Adam? You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't have knew that beforehand. But it says, so this referred to in 230 could not be the work of one person. The reference is to the shedding of blood of man by man. See, in 7, and that is 10:11, addressing the people, God says, we have indeed established you in the earth, giving you power therein, and provided for you therein various means of sustenance. How little thanks you give. We did determine you, it says, and then we gave you shape, and then said to the angels, make submission to the children of Adam, prostrate before him. So they all submitted, but Iblis did not. He would not be of those who submit. These verses also point to the same conclusion that human beings were already living on this earth. And it was after the creation of human beings and not just Adam when the angels received this order. The garden which Adam was bidden to leave in Surah 7, Ayat 24 was not heaven or paradise of the hereafter, because paradise is a place from which nobody is ever turned out. You see, so he wasn't in Jannah or paradise. He was in the garden, right? Surah 15, ayat 48. It says the word Adam stands also for the children of Adam. It says, and for the human being who is the object of the crown and the acme of all creation. 17 ayat 70. Who and whose creation became complete. Now this is where the evolutionary aspects come in, not growing from an ape, but growing consciously. The process of gradual development and evolution by Ra. Ra, that means lordship. You know, that's one of the attributes of Allah, who fosters, brings up, and regulates the things from the crudest state to that of the highest perfection, in such a manner as to make it attain one condition after another until it reaches its goal of completion. This is the evolutionary process that I believe in, not growing from no Homo habilis and no Australopithecus, you know, and all this foolishness about apes. Man's mind is what evolves. And we come through what we call being seeded in this creation. Panspermia, look it up. Rob is the author of all existence, who is not only given the whole creation its means of nourishment, but is also beforehand ordained for each a sphere of capacity within that sphere, provided the means by which it continues to attain gradually its goal of perfection. Instinctively, we on that level. You got babies out here that now that can do mathematics. We were 2 years old. We wasn't dealing with no algebraic equation, but we got some babies that can do it. They can't even talk because the mind is evolving. You see? But it says by the use of the word Ra, the Holy Quran hints at the law of evolution, which is working in the universe. There is no single word in the English carrying the significance of the word Ra. You know, and it says Iraq is considered by archaeologists to be the place where Adam lived. And the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, is reported to have described the Euphrates, it says, as the river, it says, of the garden, referred to the place where Adam lived. You know, the word Adam is used in the Holy Quran about 25 times. So we can see that there were pre-Adamites before that Adam that you know of in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And it speaks of that pre-Adamites in Genesis chapter 2, verses 4 through 7. It makes a clear distinction because we know that Adam on the first day, you know, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, he came after the plant, after the trees and everything. But the Adam on the in Genesis chapter 2, verses 4 through 7, it says he came before the plants. He came before the animal. So this term Adam is just another way of using saying man, basically. Adam wasn't his name in the sense that we've been thinking about it or we've been taught. Adam just represented a different cycle of evolution. You know, if we were really using it like that, for example, you would be the Adam that came forth from your father. He would be the Adam that came forth from his father. His father would be the Adam that came forth. So this just represents different cycles of beginning. Adam represents a cycle as opposed to just a human being. And so when we think about the pre-Adamites, before the present Adam of 6,000 years ago, we go back to, you know, the original inhabitants, you know, of the garden, you know, the Cadmonites, who descend from Adam Cadman. We talk about this all the time, you know, and this is where you go through the different cycles and the cycle ages. So we're going to get into some of this in a minute. I just wanted to give you that definition. So now that you see that the jinn and the serpent represent men, you know, they didn't represent spooks. You see? So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to give honors to our family checking in. We finna go in, family. Watch this. We done laid the foundation now. Like I said, I can't make this stuff up. Let's go back to what our chairman was saying in the book of fire now. Now that we understand that this so-called serpent is in man, you know, this so-called devil is in man, you know, the reality of God is in man. Now we got that established, we can go a little deeper. It's up to you whether you choose to exercise your God power or you choose to go down into the basement and go into the realm of bestiality. You gonna be upright, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, or you gonna be in opposition to that. You ain't got to be a Moorish American to know that. You ain't got to be a Muslim to know that. You see what I'm saying? The principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice are universal principles, family. Come straight out of Kemet. In Kemet, they was known as harmony, truth, balance, right, order, and justice. We tell you all the time, right? So what's in opposition to that? That mentality, that Sutek mentality, that Setian mentality, that Typhonic mentality, that serpent-like mentality. I can show you a multitude of pictures, of serpents being speared by Heru standing in the boulder rock, spearing serpents that's trying to raise their head up out the water. All that's symbolic to overcoming the higher self, conquering the lower self. This is when you become the resurrected All-Star comedically. You see? But anyway, it says the truth about the great serpent. By divine design, created fate, the Elohim, gave to Ish, the God-man, a soul filled with actions. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 1. These actions empowered the man, which Allah has made, to the infinite God status, free to think, reason, create, and govern from the might of his will. See, that's the difference between us, and everything else in creation. We get an ability to make choices and decisions. Some of our people get upset and get mad because the Most High gave you a free will and then make you like an animal. You want to argue and make excuses. If he wouldn't have gave me free will, I wouldn't have thought like this. But anyway, it says, but the strength of the God-man was centered in his east, above the eyebrows. See the third eye. His weakness, male of what seems to be, was spread among the 5 corner cinches below the eyebrows. This is how the devil was created with man in the garden, to become a foe, Iblis. See what I'm saying? That he must fight and conquer. It was in you all the while. The lower self, made in the semblance of the truth, appears to be full knowledgeable of man's true God self. But it must be remembered, while Muslims say Allah, man's higher self knows all, and what the angels included, Iblis does not know. This means simply the serpent itself has no power over man except the power man wills it to have. The part to be recognized here, it says, it was the infinite thoughts of the Almighty Allah that made this serpent, devil, Iblis, lower self, etc., etc. It says, and placed it in the very garden which the God-man must till to complete his victories. The snake is no accident. Allah does not make mistakes, and it is not outside of man, but in the garden of his cycle of life. And this is because this is what gives us our personality. If it wasn't for us having to fight with this serpent or the lower self, family, we wouldn't be able to strengthen our character. What we go through is what gives us character. Struggle build character. You see what I'm saying? So that part was put in us to keep us strong, keep us, on point. If we didn't have no foe, you already know somebody that ain't battle trained, man. They go out there and get their whole head tore off. So that serpent within you is basically giving you a battlefield, so to speak, a worthy foe to deal with. And when you conquer that foe within, you can conquer every foe outside of self. Even in the art of war, we learn that a man that don't have knowledge of himself is bound to be conquered by somebody outside of the self. So anyway, Muslims call this serpent Iblis because it is man's lower thinking for himself. The fallen angel, which the Bible says will always be marked by its crawling on its belly. This devil has its head or center east, is actually down, reverse, or backward. That's what I was telling you. Either you're dealing with the upright 5-pointed star, you're dealing with that inverted, demonstration that they call the head of Mendes or the goat. And you already know what that is. That's an inverted thought pattern. That's a very diabolical thought pattern. Remember, if the 5 upright principles represent love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and the one upside down is representing everything opposed to that, then you already know what come with it. It says, here the reader must be reminded that one serpent or devil is his or her own level of intelligence, which wise men call human knowledge. No one has ever said snakes are stupid, right? And the lower self is no exception to this knowledgeable fact. This further explains why Iblis, or the lower self, better known as the ego, is such a worthy foe. Hell, it's just as smart as you, because it is you. The lower self is the shadow of your higher self. Question 95, 101, Moorish questionnaire. It says, people of India call the serpent the ego, which slithers its way into man by his lower self, on the belly of desires. See? It's in that same house of bread, that same belly, right? Where you have most of your cravings and your desires, your hungers, hunger pains, make you do some strange things, huh? So it says, although some people do not notice the serpent came with the garden party, it is part of wisdom to know the nature of the snake, especially when it is made to be a shadow of each man's lower self. Question 95, Moorish questionnaires, Holy Quran questionnaires. It says the biblical allegory about a talking snake that also happens to be a great connoisseur of apples within itself should raise a mummy's brow. It says, so to say the least, any reptile with scrotums, it says enough to rap to Adam's old lady in his house after he has named him, has got to be a bad, ludicrous, or crazy, or perhaps it knew Adam better than Adam knew himself. I love how our chairman be bringing that humor in there. But anyway, it says to get a better visual of the serpent as it relates to crawling on its belly, it's best described by Noble Drew Ali. Question, is the devil made in the image and likeness of Allah? Answer, no. He is a shadow of our lower self and will pass away. Notice here, the word shadow is best related to a person's own shadow when it casts opposite the light. Notice how all shadows need a true object from which to reflect and some tangible manifest upon which to appear. It says it will crawl along like a black chameleon upon any material in wake of the true object's movements. Yet without you and the light, the true object, there is nothing of it. For this reason, the snake is used to allegorically represent man's lower ego self-place in the character of his conscious God. A brief study of any snake's movements over rocks, sand, trees, water, virtually anything more solid than air, it will conform, it says, along its path. The nature of the snake, like a shadow, is reflective of the devil in every man made by Allah. Man's ego depends upon his eye being diverted from the light, his true God self, Allah. Only then will his carnal eyes see his shadow, or, as in the garden, enjoy what their 5 senses will offer, more than what they were created to see inwardly. Actually, the serpent represents temptation and a part known by the original man. It says, but which he chooses will, it says, to annoy and not he. The snake, it says, the snake is the other part of man's conscious being, so much so until it was the serpent which Cain asked, am I my brother's keeper? Genesis chapter 4, verses 8 through 10. This same serpent causes Abraham to lie about his wife Sarah to Pharaoh. Genesis chapter 12, 10 through 20. And the Holy Christ Yehoshua was not without his share of soul snakes also. But he recognized his serpent every time, e.g., by many ties I am bound down to this carnal life. Have I the strength to overcome? That's what he said in the Moorish Holy Quran, ayat, chapter 15, ayats 3 through 4. It says again, the three temptations were actually three strikes of the serpent at the ministry of Yehoshua. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 15. The serpent is one's self, one's lower self. This is to say that Allah did not create any man without a God and with a serpent already in it. This includes prophets, masters, messiahs, messengers, and gurus, etc. If they were given a soul, then without a doubt it came with a serpent in it. This is another reason why the ancient Comedians wore the symbol of the serpent upon their headdress, not just to display rulership of Lower Upper Nile, but also a mastering of the Ophidian lower self, Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 3, ayat 15. So, this is powerful. This is how we demonstrate, family. We don't demonstrate no spookism. I tell you this all the time, so we'll stop right there. We'll get into the rest of it later. I want to really get into the essence of this measure, family. It's the book of fire, the exhuming of a nation. I keep telling y'all, if y'all ain't got it, you got to get you a copy. One of the greatest books written for the manumission of our people with 777 pages. A special number, family. 777 pages of straight fire. You ain't never heard no Moorish American talk like this. You ain't never heard nobody else outside of this paradigm talk this type of stuff. They want you to believe in a spook god. They want you to believe in a spook devil. But we don't teach that over here. You see? So get yourself a copy of this Exhuming of a Nation right here, family. You can call my chairman at headquarters, 434-676-1555. The Europeans, I keep telling y'all, they quoting my chairman. Look at who he give honors to in here. All the scribes that's here. The chairman give honors to everybody that was somebody. Even the brother Malik Zulu Shabazz, and other different groups and different people. He owe them up giving honors to everybody. So anyway, let me go to our next measure. Since we talking about the serpent, let's go into the book God, the Celestial Ship of the North by Strachon E. Valentia. This book was written back in 1929. I got a physical copy of this book, had it for like 30 years. But let's go into her definition. It says serpent, symbol of spirit, an emblem of eternity. So now this is giving it to you from the macrocosm, because celestial ship deal mostly with, the cosmology, and so a lot of the symbolism here deals with the macrocosm. What I just spoke to you a few minutes ago was dealing with the microcosm. So just as there's a serpent within us, there's also a serpent within the creation. In ancient Kemet, the creation was said to be spawned by a serpent, wrapping around an egg and so forth and so on. And then Autumn came forth and so forth and so on. You know how the story goes if you understand the Kemetic teaching. So listen to what it says. It says serpent, symbol of spirit, emblem of eternity. It says from remotest antiquity was held in veneration by every people as an embodiment of divine wisdom. So we got the Nagas. That's what our chairman was just talking about when he said the headdress, represented the Ophidian conquering of the lower self. When you seen the Ramesu, or the Mesu Ra wearing that serpent coming forth from their headpiece, showing that they had conquered their self and enlightenment, had therefore sued. But anyway, it says the serpent in its slogan was an emblem of transformation, resurrection, and immortality. So we talked about how even the lower self and that serpent being a worthy foe is what gives you the ability to man up. When we go into the aspects of dealing with, the greatest expression of raising a serpent up in the wilderness, the one within your body, this has to do with a grander measure. It's not a serpent that challenges you, but this is actually the serpent that swallows up, that other serpent. Just like they talk about Moses casting his particular staff, and his staff swallowed up the serpent of the Pharaoh. You see, all that symbolic talk. It really represents divine knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, overcoming human knowledge and carnal thinking. You see? So, it don't get no plainer than that. So it goes on. And it says the serpent in its slogan, and it says was an emblem of transformation, resurrection, and immortality. It said with its tail and its mouth, it represents infinitude. Remember I showed you the symbol of the serpent consuming its own tail. You see? This is often depicted in the Star of the Magi. I'm going to show that to you. I'm going to see if they let me put it up. If not, I just go to my own drawing here. Let's see. I'm going to see if it let it come up. Let's see if it do it. If not, I can pull it up still. Where is that? Then you gonna put the Star of the Magi. No, they won't put it there. They put that up there. The shrine is emerald. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about though. All I got to do is go right here. Take you right here to the archive, man. We got them in here. Okay. So let me show you. Some of y'all already know what I'm showing you, but for the people that may not, they need to see this. Okay. Oh, make sure I didn't go over this now. Okay. Yep. Okay, here we go. We down here in the area now. Should be finna come up right about now. Mm-hmm. There we go, right there. It's actually down here in the bottom of the picture. See the Star of the Magi? You see the serpent right here consuming its tail? That's a symbol of the universe, and all of that in which you see in the scales of the serpent represent the stars normally. That's the way Apollo, pretty much explained it in his text. You see the star is a representation of the symbol of the God-man. You see? You got the scimitar. So that's why we have, again, I show y'all all the time, that's where our adept symbol come from with the scimitar and the star. That Noble Drew Ali brought back to us. I keep showing our people this stuff come up out of Kemet. That's the Kafesh. See the sword, the constellation? Yeah. It's dealing with the cosmology, family. All the way back to the old Rishas. I'm going to keep showing it to you till our people get it. See the crown of the God-man in the old Risha teaching the scimitar, and that's for the woman, the queen. You see the star? We can't make this stuff up. So our symbols go straight back to their origin. See, if I was trying to be crazy and trying to keep people in the dark, I would never show you this type of stuff right here. See, that's what people try to do when they think they're trying to deal with some secret society type stuff. We don't demonstrate it. We hierophants. We reveal the light. So we're going to give it to you, family. This is a very ancient symbol. This is actually a Moorish coat of arms right here. And look at what it got, the scimitar and the star there. That represent, basically the Big Dipper rotating around the pole star, the Polaris. That's what it really represents, So yeah, tetragrammaton. When you look it up, you're going to find this, or the pentagrammaton. So I'm showing you from all these coming from different sources with the scimitar and the star. The only reason it's on the bottom right here is because it's in a different cycle. So when the prophet brought it, he brought it with the scimitar above the star. And if you notice, he has a star right here on the top of his shoulder. And you see the two letters M and A. You see M and A right here with tetragrammaton, but you also see the scimitar. You see? So he raised the scimitar above the star. And therefore it was brought back in the form of the adept medallion. This is Prophet Noble Drew Ali with the spinning jump ring, because what's on the other side is the scimitar and the star. So again, this is the same thing that's being depicted here in third heaven. It's the leg, again. So all this stuff is going back to Kemet. When you see us demonstrating this is Kemetic. It was the pole star that the Moors was using to circumnavigate. That's how they was able to find their way back home. You see? So I put this here. I said there are many who have claimed to teach Moorish science, but we in M.A.N can prove it and demonstrate it. Signs and symbols are for conscious mind. Now, how many of you think you can do something? It was Prophet Noble Drew Ali, supreme ruler, the executive rulers, who first raised that scimitar of consciousness as Moorish American, M&A, Master Adept, Moorish Adept, right? It says, so that it became suspended as a fixed jewel within third heaven. He was the first to demonstrate the possibilities of man concerning the chemistry, right? The ministry and the mystery, by uplifting the veil of the sacred mystery of the mystic crypts of Mizraim. So it says, hear now ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. And then the degrees that man have to go through. He have to come through the angelic degree. And then he becomes a seraphim and cherubim in due time. So all the symbolism that you see here, you see Heru raising up the scimitar above the star right there, right? And then you see the feds here with the wings on it. All this stuff is symbolic, symbolic of what a mastermind represents. Shows you this coming from the Book of Gates right here. See, they got them scimitars in their hand and them stars right there with all saw up there. Yeah. Everything we got. Noble Drew Ali knew what he was doing. He wasn't just creating something. You see the Kafesh right there above the star. That ox leg above the star is the scimitar. See how the shape of the scimitar later became? Right here. The constellation of the Great Bear, scimitar, any weapon, swords. See what I'm saying? Prophet Noble Drew Ali knew it. These are Neteru right here. They got scimitar and star in their hand now. The same symbol that became what our Moorish flag is. So see, people don't know. This is why we say this predate what Morocco was talking about. This predate what Morocco, because this actually represents the beginning of creation. You see what I'm saying? In fact, this is the sister that was sitting next to the prophet. She had it on because they were trying to say that this was a Kirkman Bay symbol, but the goddess actually had the same medallion on standing next to the prophet. That's Lomax Bay wide. So anyway, And he was one that betrayed the prophet later on. But this is symbolism, family. Signs and symbols are for conscious mind and men and women of understanding. So let me go back over here and get back to what I was reading a few minutes ago. Yes, sir. We're gonna let you see what everything is. We ain't hide nothing, people. I'm telling you. You see? We're gonna put it out here. We're gonna make sure y'all get it, family. I'm telling you, Commission ain't gonna let you down. So anyway, it says again, the serpent, its slogan was an emblem of transformation, resurrection, and immortality. With its tail in its mouth, it represented infinitude. And with the egg in its mouth, immortality and eternity. It was the emblem of the Logos. The Logos, what? We call it Circle 7. See? The self-born. You. Serapis and Jesus were both represented as a great serpent. Serpent or solar force is cosmic fire, the blind refractive force of nature, the generator or destroyer. It says, which when understood and conquered leads to the highest spiritual development, called the great snake of creative power. See Kundalini. See what I'm saying? All that represented is energetic force within you. And let me show you what the word confess is. Right here in the book, God, Man, the Word Made Flesh. Watch what they say. Let's go up here. Let's see what the definition of confess is. In fact, even this right here, this word right here represents, when you hear them say metro, Mazaro, all of this is talking about the constellation. Them seven skies. Seven stars in the sky. See? Meskin. It said the holy or the hidden shrine, a place of transformation. This is dealing with that scimitar star right here. Interior birthplace, habitation of the child. It says place of new birth of the sun in heaven and the burial place of rebirth. The sun, moon, and stars in the region of the underworld. Didn't I say that we come from stars? We solar people, stellar people. We were born from the star. We seeded from the star. That's what panspermia represents. Science tell you that. It says Mishkan, it says was the place of purgatory. It says in spiritual rebirth, and Meska found it on the tomb was the eschatological place of rebirth of the mummied dead. It says Meskin or Mishkan, Meska have the same meaning. The root of both Meskin and Shekinah, Hebrew word, may be found in the Egyptian kin or skin. You see? Same thing when we deal with, Meru, the garden of the tree of life. Symbolically, this represents above your neck. You see, the tree of life is at the soft spot, in the essence of the brain, the tree of life, the different branches, and the nerves and so forth and so on that go down into the central nervous system. That's the real tree of life. It says the polar region said to be like the seed cup or the lotus, in the lotus of immensity. Meru was called the great world's altar stairs. A lot of people don't know the 7th adept degree deals with this measure, what we deal with being Mar, and you become one who is a master of astrologics and astronomy. Meru was called the great world's altar stairs. It says by which men could climb heavenward. See, remember we talked about them angels ascending and descending on the 12-step ladder, in the heaven, as they say, Jacob's ladder. When they talk about that winding staircase in the Temple of Solomon, all of it saying the same thing, family. At each step, a planetary heaven was established in their different cycles of time. Meru was also a name for thigh. See that thigh? That's the thigh that I was showing you earlier. The thigh, the leg of the bull. You see? Sometimes they say ox, the matrix or the mother. So this represents the matrix through which we came. From Polaris, the Big Dipper was seated. That's called the mouth of God, family. I got a whole breakdown that I did on this stuff right here, just dealing with this alone, this particular subject alone. I'm going to get into it again one day. But this is the matrix, or the mother occultists have described it as the exalted mass of glory and the veritable hunts of the gods' heavenly choristers. It says not to be reached by sinful men. See, you got to be adept to get up in that chamber. It says, because guarded by the serpents. These were the fiery serpents in the wing wheels. See, seraphim. See? And this would be your seraphim, which is the highest degree. The seraphim is the one that's at one with the spirit of the Almighty God Allah, according to our Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 1. So you go from the first degree of angel to the second degree cherubim and the third degree seraphim. What does the cherubim do? The cherubim is the chief protector of the solar star. Cherubim also synonymous as well with the serpent circle or zodiac. That's the ladder. That's also the ladder. Angels ascend and descend. The angels really represent us that are born through different months, our birth chambers. You call them Pisces and, all different types of measures. But our ancestors had different names for them. They're known as the Iunet, the Dendera. It says its 4 rivers or cardinal points of the world were symbolized in the 4 sacred animals, the protectors of mankind who were the watchers over karma on earth. Meru was the celestial mountain where the gods and the highest celestial beings dwell, as well as the mythical birthplace astronomically, the celestial pole, the pole star, the throne of Jehovah. The rule is the mouth for the outlet. Remember I said this right here is the mouth of God. We say wisdom speaking from out of the highest plane of spirit life. It's coming from above your neck. And it's the same way when you get into cosmology and you deal with the polarities, all of the information of the ages come forth from there. Meru is also imagined as an island, a lotus tree. That's why they talk about the 1,000-petaled lotus, in Buddhism. In that soft spot right there in the top of the head. I'm going to give y'all a real powerful key that most people don't know. After I say this here, co-types emanation from the water, it was celestial. A lot of people don't know Muhammad was said to be taken through the 7 heavens in his night journey. Now we got 7 adept degrees. In the 7th degree, Muhammad being taken into the 7th heaven, it is said that he was taken into the lote tree of the utmost bounty. And it was called Bayata Mamor. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Muhammad himself went on a journey, family, within the self. Bayatu Mahmor. You see, I'm going to go straight to it right here. It's called the frequented house. See, all this stuff is esoteric and physiological, family. They say it's a Kaaba on earth and a Kaaba that's supposed to be in the heaven. The heavens really represent your mind. That's the true Mecca. See, Bayat Mamur, also known as the frequented house, is a prototype of Kaaba, the house of Allah. And it is located outside of the human realm. It is located directly above the Kaaba in the highest heavens, the 7th heaven. That's that 7th adept degree, family. That's how the Sufis teach it. And just above it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's throne, the sacred holy house, is mentioned. Surah Tur of the Holy Quran. And by Bayatul Mahmur, the house of the heavens. Meru, Mor, Mar, the heavens parable to the Kaaba at Makkah, continuously visited by the angels. And they say it's 70,000 angels. Holy Quran, Surah 52, Ayat 4. A lot of people don't know the 70,000 angels really deal with the 70,000 nadis within the body. Like our brother Tupac, he used to study that stuff. He said, Killuminati all through your body, blow like a 12-gauge shot. All that was esoteric talk Tupac was demonstrating, and they didn't even get it. He was talking about the nadis. The nadis represent different pressure points. It's said to be 70,000 nadis. And these are stations of the angels within your body, family. Remember, angel is a thought of the Most High manifested in human flesh, according to us. So it says, just as we perform tawaf around the holy Kaaba on earth, The angels perform tawaf around Beat Mamor day and night, right? Day in and day out. It says 70,000 angels visit Beat Mamor to worship, pray in a single day. It says, who never return. Hence, Beat Mamor is welcomed by a new legion of 70,000 angels every day, which puts in perspective a massive number of angelic population that exists as compared to mortal humans residing on the earth. In Hadith about Isra and Miraj, the night journey, and the ascension to heaven, the messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said, then I was shown Beat Mamor, Allah's house, and I asked Jibril about it. And he said, Beat Mamor, where 70,000 angels perform prayers daily. This is why you don't have to deal with no praying on the manifest. You got praying thoughts that are manifested in your flesh. You don't have to go through no different modes and so forth and so on to try to prove something to somebody on the manifest. Your thoughts are already performing, the degrees of salat. Huh? Angels perform prayers daily. When they leave, they never return to it. But always a fresh batch comes into it daily. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Look at what he said. He said, then the Beat Mamor was raised up to me. I said, O Jibril, what is this? He replied, it is Beat Mamor. 70,000 angels enter into it daily. And after they come out, they never return again. So imagine 70,000 angelic thoughts manifesting in your flesh, using your nadis as a station to raise your body to a higher state of consciousness. Imagine when you get into a state of mind where you make that natural. That'll be a paradigm shift every day. It says 2 vessels were then brought to me, and the first one contained wine, and the second one contained milk. Now remember we were talking about that oil and that milk, and God, man, the word made flesh. Same thing being told right here. It says, and both of them were placed before me. I chose milk, and it was said, you did right. Allah would rightly guide through you your ummah on the natural course. Then 50 prayers daily were made obligatory for me. Then he narrated the rest of the hadith to the end. And we honor this right here because it corresponds with Quran. So we can call this hadith Qudsi. But anyway, it says angels, it say come to offer their salat once, and they are done, then they leave and never return. And then the following by another group of angels, 70,000. So think about 70,000 positive thoughts coming into your mind every day. This cycle will continue to the day of resurrection. So yeah, it goes deep into the concept of Beat Mamor, but it actually talks about it goes a little deeper into the description and said Muhammad was showed the Nile Valley pretty much when he went to the 7th heaven. What Beat Mamor was. Let me do it like this here. Lotus tree of the utmost bounty. We was talking about the lotus, right? Watch what it say. Sidrata Muntaha is what it's called. Sidrata Muntaha is the lotus tree, the furthest boundary. This is as far as human knowledge can reach. It is a large lotus tree and sidra tree that marks the utmost boundary in the 7th heaven, which no one can pass. It is called Sidrata Muntaha because the knowledge of the angels stopped at that point, and no one has gone beyond it. During the Isra and Miraj of Muhammad, he traveled with the angel Jibril to the tree, where the angel Jibril stopped, and beyond the tree, Allah instructed Muhammad about the 5 daily prayers. You see, you got to go into this stuff right here. This is powerful. See, the Quran said it right here, Surah 53, and the prophet's heart did not doubt what he saw. How can you, O pagans, then dispute with him regarding what he saw? And he certainly saw that angel descend a second time at the lotus tree of the most extreme limit in the 7th heaven. near which their garden of the eternal residence, while the lote tree was overwhelmed with heavenly splendors. The prophet's sight never wandered. It says, nor did it overreach. It says he certainly saw some of his Lord's greatest signs. He was being initiated, family. He was being initiated. Jibril initiated Muhammad into the ancient Comedian mystery system. Hate it or love it. Look at here. I told y'all about the people of Saba. It's Shabbat, tribe of Shabazz. Remember, there was a sign of the people of Shabbat. Two, in their dwelling place, two gardens, one on the right, one on the left. Eat from what your Lord has provided for you, and give him thanks, for your land is your good land and most forgiving. But they paid no heed, so we let loose on them a flood from the dam and replaced their two gardens with others that yielded bitter fruit and tamarinds and bushes and a few lote trees. In this way, we punish them for their ingratitude, and we punish anyone but the ungrateful. So we know the people of Shabazz is talking about the Cushites. This is along the Nile Valley civilization, family. Real talk. Real talk. You know? So if you go deeper into this, I'm going to hit this just to go deeper. All this is esoteric, symbolic measure dealing with Muhammad's initiation. That's all it's talking about. He went through 70 degrees, just like we went through, or we go through 7 degrees in our initiation process. Let me see if they get an actual story here. This is from Oxford reference. No, they ain't going into it right there. I want the whole story. I ain't gonna read the whole thing, but it said that he met a prophet at every level of the heaven. All this stuff is symbolic and esoteric. Okay, let's see if it let me get this one right here. And he rode into the heavens on a sphinx too. I ain't even talked about that part right there. Okay, then I don't think they giving me the whole thing here. No, I'm trying to find the whole story real quick. That way I can show y'all what he was showed when he got up to the very height. Okay, that's his ascension. Okay, yeah. So yeah, he went up. This is where he going up. All of them. I'm gonna go up to the seventh heaven. It should give it here. They still didn't put it in here. They didn't go all the way on that one. Normally, they write the whole story out. Okay, let's see. Nope, they didn't give it there. I don't know why they playing. Tell the whole story. Stop sugarcoating. I just want to know why Prophet Muhammad was showed the Nile Valley civilization when he went to the highest heaven. In other words, they were saying he went into what we call comedically Sekhet Aru. No, they still didn't give it there. I can't believe if I wasn't looking for it, they'll show it right there to me. They telling the story, but they ain't telling it thoroughly. Birth in the DL. They still ain't gonna put it up here. That's the only thing I hate about the information when people get out there, they be trying to sugarcoat stuff, man. Let me see. Let me give it more detail and see if they give it to me then. Okay. It's still giving me a couple of those measures there. Let me see if it tell you. With a name like ZimZim.com, they got to have the whole story up here. Okay. Oh, don't try to do that. They just talking about the night of power on that one. Okay, you see. Yeah, they still bucking. They saying everything with what they normally say. Okay, they say you're seeing them on all different aspects of the heaven, and they stopping right there. Somebody trying to hide something. But anyway, I read enough to you out of the Quran. I don't want to waste time looking for this because it's normally there, but they trying to hide something. But it basically tell you that, you know, when you get into this realm of Sagrata, Muntaha, you know, it tell you that he was shown the Nile Valley. You know, he was shown the river of the Nile. So that lets you know he was in Kemet. So he traveled through all them different places and he ended up in Kemet at the highest heaven. So what that tell you? Let me see. I'm gonna try this last attempt. You gotta look this stuff up. This stuff you got to know. I think this is one right here. They just mentioning Shabbat there basically, you know, which is the Kushite civilization. Okay. Stream bound all human and low tree is supposed to appear as everybody's in the person. The low tree, the loose in the night. They got a lot of commentary over here. Paradise in the vision is Jibril. See here. Suggestive cosmology. Basically, they go right here and they go into it here too. When God planted a garden eastward in Eden, you know, it's basically going into the same thing what they speak of biblically about the rivers that flow. See Gihon, the River Nile, and all of that right there. You know, so Sadrata Muntaha, you know, is associated basically with that. My thing is, why was Muhammad shown the Nile Valley in his 7th adept degree. You know what I mean? That's what I want to know. Be out to my more. And so this is a good source right here. I'm gonna save this one too if I can to my favorites. That way if I have to pull it up again, see it right here. Here's another one right here. It said, this is a low tree beyond which none may pass. There were 4 rivers, 2 hidden and 2 visible. I asked, who is this, O Jabril? He said, the 2 hidden rivers, it says, in paradise, and the 2 visible rivers are the Nile and the Euphrates. This is what he was shown, and also Kota, Al-Kota. That word Kota, when I think about the tree of life, goes back to Kita. So you got to know this history. Yeah, that's what they teach. There you go, right there, family. The rivers that were seen by Prophet Muhammad. He went to the 7th heaven to be shown the Nile Valley, the Nile River, and all that has deep significance to it. The man was initiated as the Egyptian adept master. 7 degrees, just like the one we go through. Jabril took Muhammad through it. Powerful. See what I'm saying? This thing cold-blooded. So anyway, let me go back up here. Because I was trying to find the word, and then we'll go into the other portion that we're going into. We dead serious about this ladder of ascension, family. We ain't playing. Okay, yeah, here's the definition too of the word hierophant. For those who always like to know, in this particular word, a hierophant, an instructor of the mysteries, one who explains secret things. That's what I'm doing right now. A title belonging to the highest adepts in the temples of antiquity and the initiators into the final great mysteries, a high priest. That's what a hierophant is. Hierophant is a revealer of the light. We don't conceal stuff. We reveal it. That's what a hierophant do. That's why Prophet Noble Drew Ali said he came to loose the secrets that had been held back for years. He said, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, I came to take the cover off of all secret organizations. And that's how you know he wasn't part of none of them. Okay, let's see here. Okay, yeah. Here we go. This is what I'm trying to go to right here. I actually went past it. Okay, here we go. Right here, kafesh. Remember I was showing y'all that word kafesh means scimitar. See, it's special ideograph of Typhoon, the Great Bear constellation. Same thing that was said in the dictionary of your boy, Wallace Buzz, typified in Gentrix, the crooked sword of Egypt, called the thigh. That's the constellation of the Great Bear, the Big Dipper family, rotating around the pole star. And it's so deep when we get into this stuff, family. This is not just us teaching like this. We get into this teaching, family. Look here. Watch this. This is in the teachings of people of China. This book called Awakening the Healing Light right there. See it right there? And it talks about how you deal with meditation. See? The Kafesh right here. Scimitar above the star. Constellation of Meskheti, the Great Bull. Meru, Mero, Mesura, Misra, Mizro, Mitzah, Mizraim. All of these are symbolic names for that constellation with the Big Dipper that rotate around. See, this is the Big Dipper. That's the leg of the ox. This is the Little Dipper. This is the opening of the mouth tool that's used in the opening of the mouth ceremony. They both rotating around the pole star. You see what I'm saying? And see, the scimitar consists of 3 measures: Allah, swift angels, and prophets. The bearer, the guard, and the blade. You see, and it's mathematics involved with all this stuff right here. I get into that at another time. See, Kafesh means scimitar, constellation of the thigh, celestial apparatus of the executive rulers. So this is coming from our Asiatic brothers. And see how they got the Big Dipper rotating around the polarises. You see that one meditating, sitting on the world. This is what it really means to be on the square. You know, you see the fires, the chakra fires right here. You see what is like the Milky Way galaxy. That's that milk and that honey rim. See, all this represents cycle. You can see it right here. You can see the Big Dipper right there going in different patterns of the constellational expressions going in a circle. This is rotating right around your head. See, it's being projected from the crown chakra all the way up to the Polaris, and the scimitar rotating around it. Telling you, family, we can't make this stuff up. See the brother in Kemet right there with the Kafesh in his hand. So that gave birth to the scimitar, the crooked sword, as they call it, the Kafesh. See, all this is dealing with alchemy, inner alchemy. And this is the quickest way to get into meditation. Here's another picture of it right here. It's in the same book. All these different material, family. A lot of this ain't got nothing to do with each other as far as you would call it a belief system. You know, different teaching, but they all teaching on the same thing. See, instead of calling it Mount Meru, they call it Kunlun Mountain. See, the Polaris is up here coming from being projected from the, and that's the pituitary gland. We can say really from the optic thalamus. You know, the eye hero being projected, right? So then when you come over here, you see him sitting in the chair meditating again. You see the star up there, and you see that Big Dipper, the Kafesh, rotating around it. See what I'm saying? So when we talk about the gate of God, it's above your neck, and it also has to do with the center around which everything revolves. When our video come on, the intro come on, you be seeing this rotate. See the Big Dipper right there? See the Polaris is right there? It's rotating, fam. That's what's being demonstrated in the flag. Scimitar rotating around the star, family. You know, what we doing represents something. And not only that, that show you that our flag is way more ancient than most people ever know. You see what I'm saying? Way more ancient. Here's another one I have here. See it right here? Connecting the crown to the mid-eyebrow. Be aware the crown and the mid-eyebrow point inhale as though you were breathing in through the crown point. Your crown chakra. Breathe in through your crown chakra. Draw the violet light of the North Star in with the breath to the crystal room, and then exhale through the mid-eyebrow point, your third eye. Be aware of the golden light in front of you. The energy of the mountain, ocean, lakes, waterfalls, forests. Breathe that energy in through the mid-eyebrow point. It says to the crystal room, and exhale through the crown. It says repeat these last two steps 3 to 9 times. This is showing you how to get into your God consciousness, family. If you like meditation, you get this book, and these are the instructions they give. See it? He on the square. They don't know what they be talking about when they think. Look at that. See the scimitar right there? See that Kofesh? See it being rotated right here again around the Polarises again? Now look at this. Y'all see how these gods standing up here demonstrating with both of their hands up? That's adept posture. Now look right there what's on the table. Them scimitars. Right there. A lot of people don't know, but watch this. Watch this. They think we be playing about the prophet. What he demonstrating right there, y'all? What he demonstrating right there? He demonstrating the same thing that them gods demonstrating right there. He demonstrating the same thing that's being demonstrated right here. When you deal with Shu, and you see this right here, same thing. Kneel down with it. Yes, sir. That's holy breath, family. That's exalting the holy breath. We can't make this stuff up. Huh? They think it's a game, don't they? When we say Noble Drew Ali was an Egyptian adept master, we mean that. We ain't just saying that to sound slick. We mean what we say. Now watch this. See? Bruh. Huh? You know what the car is. You know what the car is. We can't make this up. We cannot make this up, family. And if you go right back over here, see, they be talking about, oh, you know, that's the grand healing sign of the stress. The Mason stole it from the Kemites. And we have our people running around here talking about that the Moors stole something from them. Get out of here with that foolishness. Watch this. Let me show you this last piece right here. Y'all think it's a game too. Y'all see the brother Ludacris over there in Morocco. You see what they gave him? They gave him a sash like the prophet sash when he went to Morocco with the fez on and everything. I just showed that because it was there. Let me show you this picture right here real quick. And then we're going to get further into it. I'm just trying to show you where a lot of these signs and symbols come from, what they represent, fam. So you know what it is we demonstrate. Let's see here. A little bit more. And by the way, too, this is when they say Muhammad went through the seven heavens over here. He rode the Sphinx through the heavens, family. They got a little Arabized version they done tried to draw of Miss Jabril over here taking him through the seven heavens, right? But that's a Sphinx, family. The man rode the Sphinx through the heavens. And they go the whole story right there in my thing. The gatekeeper asked him at what level, at every level. You know, who is that you got with you, Jabril? See there? Yeah, we ain't playing. Sadrata Muntaha. And look at how they spell Beata Mamor. Moor, huh? Yeah, they get upset when we be showing them that type of stuff. But yeah, so when he got to the seventh heaven, Beata Mamor, he seen the Nile Valley. He rode a Sphinx through the heavens is basically what they try to tell you. And you can take that how you want to take it. I'm trying to find. Let me see. There's one picture in here I'm trying to show y'all. Because I want to show you again Signs and symbols of for conscious mind and men and women of understanding. Let's see. Come on. Okay, not that one there. We're almost there. That's another good picture too. That's actually what I had cropped out when I was dealing with the confession. Scimitar and the stars. That's a literal ceiling. And that's what I actually had put in there from the dictionary. Scimitar. I didn't just make this stuff up. This stuff actually is out there all over the place. Okay. Where in the world is that picture at? You know what? We're going to do it like this. Let me see if it come up. Let me see if it come up like this. No, they won't put it up there. There you go, right there. That's what I'm looking for, right there. I was trying to find a picture of my chairman, standing up demonstrating the same sign. Shoot, that's how adepts pray. You want to know how we pray? That's how adepts pray right there, family. So, yeah, it all comes from Kemet the way we demonstrate it. We can't make this stuff up. So let me go back over here to where we were. We're going to move to the next phase over here. We're going to get into the circle of necessity. Now that we understand, the journey. Hold up. Okay. Grab this real quick here. Get me a little agua. Okay. So yeah, this is what we're going into now, the circle of necessity. It says, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, for days and years. So we already know that this was speaking of, the Dendera, or what we call Iunet, the zodiac symbols and the constellations and so forth and so on. It says we are products of our solar system, and the motions of the earth, sun, moon, and planets are performed with a precision that nothing in mind of man has ever been able to imitate. Among the stars there is no inharmony, but a deep melody of silence that no music on earth can reach. There is no lagging above. It is the same today and forever, and by those who delve and learn mysteries will be unveiled, and the key found that unlocks the past involved in the present. The unveiling comes only with long searching and perhaps with many hours of failure. But if we would rise through steep ascent and straight, it leads toward the final gate, and beyond which lies infinity. We just showed you the various meditation postures. Each and every one is surrounded by an aura, invisible to many, but always visible to the clairvoyant. A magnetic aura surrounds the earth, and the signs of the zodiac are, it says, in the same way subdivisions of this emitting an effect upon the earth. and they are at an angular distance, between the earth and the earth, between the earth, it says, in the sun, and are as it were within the sphere of the earth's aura. This relative position between the earth and the sun is due to currents of energies coming from the sun, which interplay within the aura of the earth, producing an influence. Ancient astrologers considered the sun's path as the zodiac of the earth. It says there's an occult spiritual side to the zodiac. It's talking about the vital magnetic aura and its forces in their subdivision radiate outward in every direction from our globe. There's an occult spiritual side to the zodiac, to which 12 spiritual beings or 12 creative orders which send forth manifestations of power belong. All life is under the sway of the spiritual beings, and the planets passing through different signs of the zodiac, right, became natural centers of activity for them. The zodiac is the matrix of the theoretical astronomy and the great wheel of necessity. See, a lot of people don't know when Elijah Muhammad was talking about the 12 gods, that rule a particular cycle, and he was speaking of, 50 year and 25,000 year cycle. This is what he was talking about. And then he mentioned the 12 imams. See, in the teachings of Shiism, or the Shiite teachings, these 12 gods represent the 12 imams. If you go into the Kemetic teachings, you get into the 12 deities of ancient Kemet. You see, every particular system have a teaching that deal with these 12, that act as what they call, in the teaching of the NOI, major scientists and minor scientists. You see what I'm saying? So this is all powerful, family. When you go into the history, I'm just showing you from different teachings and different doctrines how everybody had their own way of teaching it. Just like we showed you already, the 12 signs also represent the 12 tribes of Israel. Can also represent the 12 apostles or the 12 disciples, and so forth and so on. It says the groups of fixed stars from which our zodiac is named lie at some distance beyond our solar system, but are in that same path through which the planets revolve around the sun. From an occult standpoint, the planets have affinity with all planes. It is through the planets that the forces and energies of the higher planes are brought through to the earth as physical forces. So this is showing you the influence that planets, and stars have on, this reality we live in. The fixed stars are indices of the super solar force, and the sun is but a means of relegated fire. If we are to understand truly what the solar force means on Earth, we should at all times regard the indices of the super solar force which the sun conveys to us. The fixed stars are reflectors of the supernal part itself, or rather than the solar. The rays which the fixed stars emit are darkness. Knowledge of this subject removes the static for astrologers. The rays of the sun do not produce the light we are aware of on our earth today. It is the reflected influence of other suns that comes directly from the central sun and striking our earth at various angles and produces an energy and light. It say the sun of righteousness shall rise with healing in its wing. That's the book of Malachi and the Piscean records of the Bible, the last book of the Old Testament, right? Who do you think the sun of righteousness rising with healing in its wing? What you think that represents? Your enlightenment when you ascend in consciousness. It says, due to the precession of the equinoxes, constellations that occupied the signs of the zodiac that bear their names have moved away some 30 degrees. The constellation of groups of fixed stars begin with the first degrees of Pisces. It says in the zodiac at the first degree of Aries, when measured, it says where the ecliptic and equatorial circles meet. The same influences assigned to the constellation used in our zodiac of today are due to the occult property given to each of the signs, a property inherent and unchangeable and in no wise dependent on the constellation or groups of fixed stars, for which they receive their names. Our zodiac is a mystery language and shows the relationship between God and man. It says, very great reverence was given in prehistoric times to this section of the heavens. Although there are many other constellations north and south, occult significance has not attached to them, or else the key that would have unraveled their mysteries has been lost. The zodiac is the apparent course of the sun, an actual course of the planets around the sun. The Earth, on her yearly journey, passes along the belt of the ecliptic, or the zodiac, and the sun is the center of the circle that she describes. Now it is evident that if the Earth maintained an upright position as she traveled around the circle of the ecliptic, the terrestrial poles would correspond with the poles of the ecliptic. But they do not correspond because the Earth, instead of maintaining an upright position, has her poles tilted away from the poles of the ecliptic. It says the points where the plane of the equator and the plane of the ecliptic cross are called equinoxes. The precession of the equinoxes is caused by the movement of the pole of the equator around the poles of the ecliptic. Each time the sun completes its circle of the zodiac, it crosses the equator at a short distance back of the place it had crossed the previous year. Consequently, the equinoctial point is annually falling back at a uniform rate. It takes this point 2,160 years to fall back an entire sign of 30 degrees, remaining 72 years in each degree, 25,920 years to complete the entire zodiacal circle. And this is called the Great Year. See, in the teachings of the NOI, they say a new God come to rule. In the teachings of Moorish science, we call them, climes of the time, so to speak, or cycle ages. They say we measure time by cycle ages. This is when we have paradigm shifts. You see, it says the precession of the equinoxes is the key to all great cosmic cycles, causing manifestations in different ages. Despite disagreements regarding the exact time it takes for these cycles to arrive, it says the Egyptians were too exact in their calculations to make mistakes, and the proofs are too sound to question. There is no number in all occult science of such importance as 25,920. The zodiac, as we know, it says, is divided into 12 houses, and each containing 30 degrees of 360 degrees that comprise the whole. It is due to these that events of ancient times can be so clearly identified. History gives us these periods in the symbol worship of different eras. About 6,000 years ago, when the sun entered the sign Taurus in the bull, there were bull-headed gods. About 2,000 years later, there were ram-headed gods, represented by the sign Aries, the ram. The past 2,000 years were represented by the sign Pisces, the fishes. The changing of the cycles, or the changing of the gods, meant that a new spiritual impulse had entered the world, a new manifestation of the light heralded by wars, cataclysms, etc., great and small. We are entering upon such a period today as the Piscean manifestation recedes to make way for the advance of the Aquarian era, ushering in a great extension of spiritual recognition. So instead of man being in the water like fish, water is going to be poured on them. That's why they call Aquarian the water bear. It says an age or an era takes its inception, an impulse from the sign of the zodiac, which ushers out the vanishing past for the evolving future. Man's spirit is of the same substance as the stars, and it is by placing oneself in harmony with God's laws that all things become possible. All teaching shows that the zodiac was a foundation for the study of laws of God. and that to understand these laws we must love nature. Our Bible proves to be a study of our solar system and gives knowledge and revolutions around other suns of other solar systems, also showing the struggles between darkness and light, or black and white magic. It says the first Bible ever written in religious history of man was found in the heavens. It says to read the Bible with a knowledge of the zodiac and the heavens increase the interest and pleasure of 1,000-fold. See, I talk about reading that book of creation all the time, right? Astrology is so little understood because it seems to deal with the supernatural and therefore remaining a blank to those lacking in perception. Two of the greatest needs of the world today are intuition and imagination, which the world lift mankind from spiritual blindness under which he has long labored. These gifts are made manifest through meditation, which reveals a power in silence. Intellect does not always develop divinely given powers, but they can be born from the heart. Interest in astrological lore would soon lead one into paths of great enlightenment, right? Not otherwise conceived of, for therein are found the laws of the universe, which are the word of God. The precession of the equinoxes, it says, which has helped to place the age of the zodiac, is caused by the apparent motion through space of the sun, which makes the constellations to appear more forward against the order of the signs at the rate of about 50 and 1/3 seconds a year. Therefore, at the beginning of all ages, we find certain constellations in the first sign of the zodiac. And from this fact is found the astronomical key to nearly all religions in the world, our own Christianity included. A world conception of religion is found in the interpretation of the zodiac, the origin which goes back to the very beginnings when the primitive people became watchers of the sky. Its antiquity shows that it contained both divine law and power, and in its great circle of symbolism can be found the key to the history of the world, as well as to all the mysteries, which in character were astronomical. In different periods of time, different yet different influences presided, but there was always a conception of one who was the Mother Supreme. It says, and who in the solar reckoning of time was accepted as the great Father, Yahweh, Jehovah, right, of the Jews, who in feminine phase was the great mother. It says heaven was the bringer forth, and the Egyptians represented this heaven as a woman arching over the earth. This representation has lingered on in the use of the astrological zodiac of the day. To them, the zodiac was a vast ethereal sea and was often symbolized by a ship passing over the bent figure of a woman studded with stars to represent the sun's passage through the zodiac. The woman above as heaven and the woman below as earth were the first forms upon which physical geography was founded. It says, Bailey found the earliest founders of the zodiac to be antediluvians, with names of the zodiac and planets applying in the same order and meaning everywhere. This could not have been by chance. The Egyptians have undeniable proofs and records of countless ages of the past, which have been found in their wonderfully preserved plane sphere of Dendera, filled with signs and symbols of their zodiac. These records go back 87,000 years. The Hindus' calculations cover 33 such periods. This plane sphere proves what the Egyptian priests told Herodotus. It says, which confirmed by S.A. Mackey that the poles of the earth and the ecliptic had formerly coincided, and ever since the first zodiacal records had commenced, the pole had been 3 times within the plane of the ecliptic. This knowledge has been taught by the initiates. The 3 virgins given in this plane sphere represent divine astronomical dynasties. A most interesting circumstance is told by Mr. Mackey in his mythological astronomy to prove how misled we of the Western world have been regarding the famous and sacred city of Nares of Hindustan. It says, which was also known, which was known as the seat of all celestial science of India, and the astronomical tables made use of in various parts of the empire are constructed for the meridian of Benares. It says, as those in England are for the meridian of Greenwich. You see? And it goes on breaking this stuff down when it come down to dealing with, the zodiac. And I can go on and on. This is just the celestial ship of the north. It go real far in this particular drawing. So you really get it. The influences that I had here have to do pretty much with the influence of the stars upon the planet, paradigm shifts. And with every age comes a greater climax, so to speak, of the truth, coming to the people. You see, so this thing is mainly dealing with the concept of the Circle 7. This book right here that's called Celestial Ship of the North. See, it started talking about the constellation of the Great Bear. That's the Confess with the 7 stars and the 7 constellations. The pole, the 7 multiplied by the 4 corner points, 28 lunar mansions. It get into the 7 Elohim. This Circle 7 science right here, family. See, the creation of the heavens and the cycles of time found in building the zodiac. This thing ain't nothing to be played. This celestial ship of the north ain't no joke. When it comes to explaining it even tell you about Kemet, that there's a Kemet within the heavens. So we can go on and on with this demonstration. I'm gonna go to our next measure so we can get to the closing point. And I started on this last week. And this is coming from Thinking in Destiny, another book that corresponds with everything that we read as well. Listen to what it say here. This is section 3. It says the zodiac related to the human body and the triune self to the intelligence. Remember, we were talking about the influence that the cell salts have on the body and how they relate to each one of the signs and the symbols in heaven. So just as there's a paradigm shift that takes place with humanity when a cycle is completed, a processional cycle of 25 or 50,000 years, the same way that this is being demonstrated, when the body allows the seed to recycle through the body, so to speak, there's a paradigm shift that takes place within the consciousness as well. So it says the zodiac related to the human body, to the triune self, to the intelligence. It says the zodiacal figure shows that man in his physical body is the microcosm of the macrocosm, that is of the universe or sphere of fire and of all that is in it. The parts of the human body are related to and connected with the signs of the zodiac, it being always understood that the points are meant not the constellations on the ecliptic. It says the head is related to Aries. Aries conscious contains all in the sense that it is throughout all. Language is inadequate to express this idea because language is made to express thoughts that deal with the kind of matter that is at most one-dimensional or surface matter of the physical world. The head or sphere or circle is one, and it contains all. Out of it, all things in the body come. The head represents the manifested and unmanifested. Unmanifested signs, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, or Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, are in the upper half, while the manifested signs such as Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn are represented in the lower half. We can call this a lower and upper Kemet. It says by the 7 openings in the head. You see? It says by emanation or extension in the torso, the chest shows the upper unmanifested half of the circle, while the pelvis shows the lower half. The head is represented through the torso. It says in it are the types from which the torso is built. It's 3 sections. The brain is represented in the thorax by the lungs and the heart, in the abdominal section by the kidneys and the adrenals, in the pelvic region by the prostate, in the womb and the male organ in the vagina. It says all specialized organs in the head have their counterparts in the thorax, abdomen, and the pelvis. Everything starts from the head. It says the foot that is eaten and maintains the body. The things that are seen, heard, and tasted and smelled, it says, and so act on the body, breathing and voluntarily muscular actions. Everything starts from the head. The neck or throat is related to Taurus. It is the first departure from the head. It says, through it come the impulses that cause movements of the body. The shoulders and arms are related to Gemini. They have no internal organs, take no part in internal actions of the body, but when they act, their potential power and duality as represented by the hands work civilization in the being. You hear me say the hand is symbolic to the mind all the time, right? It says the breasts are related to Cancer because of the breath, and all elements come into the body. Breath starts life. We were talking about raising the arms up, dealing with ka, shu. That's all dealing with the sign of the holy breath. Breath starts life. By it, all things are sustained and kept in activity. The heart is related to Leo. Through the heart, the blood, which is the life carrier, sent forth to build new tissue and cause new life and growth. See the paradigm shift, right? It says the womb and prostate are the representatives of Virgo, and they mold the seeds of life into form. The parts of the body where the sex openings are related to Libra. It says there the gender is apparent. There male and female unite. There is the center of human interest. There is the gate through which breath, life, and form pass down and out into the temporal human world. It says, or along which they pass on and up into the spine of eternal life. The male organ and the clitoris are the representatives of Virgo and Scorpio. It says, and they are acted on, it say, by and react to the pull of nature to procreate. The terminal filament, it says, is related to Sagittarius. As at present, it is not used by the doer as a path of desire. It says to the thinker, because it talk about the doer, the thinker, and so forth and so on in here as well. It says the spinal cord opposite the heart is related to Capricorn. At present, it is not used for the purpose of the triune self. The spinal cord between the shoulders related to Aquarius. It says at the present, it is not used for the purposes of the triune self. The thinker, doer, and the knower, right? It says the spinal cord at the cervical vertebrae, it says is related to Pisces. It says at present, it is not used for the purposes of the triune self. Thus, all the 12 points of the manifested as well as the unmanifested are represented in a human body, which is thus the universe in a miniature or model universe. That's how you become the microcosm of the macrocosm, right? It says the triune self also constituted as a pattern of the zodiac, but the unmanifest signs only are notably represented in the makeup of the triune self and its servants. And in the universe in which it lives, the signs are Cancer, represented by the sense of sight. It says Leo by the sense of hearing, Virgo by the sense of taste, Libra by the sense of smell, and all of these are on the natural or the nature side, but are also servants of the triune self. Scorpio is represented by the doer, Sagittarius by the thinker, Capricorn by the knower. The matter of which these four senses, it says in the three parts of the triune self are, is more directly in contact with the points for which the zodiac signs stand, and that is the transient matter of the body parts. So this thing breaks down everything all the way down to the senses of the body, and it goes on and on and on, fam. It's a powerful message. This is coming from Thinking in Destiny. You got to get yourself a hand on the copy of this right here, because it got a lot of the science in here that we talking about, dealing with physiology, and esoteric astrologics. It's all in here, family. Thinking in Destiny. It's a powerful work right here by Harold Waldman Perceiver. A lot of this right here comes out of the same Deep thinking, fam. We ain't playing. We be getting our people this information. See, this go back to 1946, the oldest first print of the copy. You know? So, yeah, check it out. Thinking in Destiny. You can get it free online. So, that brings me to this last portion, where it brings me back to God, man, the Word made flesh. But before I go here, let me see. I'm going to check on my family and see if I have any comments or questions that I need to tend to. Yeah, okay. So our family just chilling. They just watching it right now. So, okay, what we're going to do then, we're going to go back into this and get this little portion here over with. So we know we're dealing with the macrocosmic and the microcosmic expression when we deal with God, man, the Word made flesh. All of this information, if you notice, when you get into the esoteric realm, it actually ties into every other portion of the information. You can read the Buddhist documents, Hindu documents, they all saying the same thing in a different way. So it says the bridge of life. It says conceived in sin and brought forth in iniquity. It says noiseless patient. It says in spite I mark where on the literal it says promontory. It said it stood isolated, marked how to explore the vacant vast surrounding it launched forth the filament and the filament out of itself, ever unreal in them, ever tirelessly speeding them. It says, and you, O my soul, where you stand, surrounded in measures of oceans and space. We already know what this is talking about. We can't make this stuff up, family. We're dealing with the cosmos, right? See, we want to know about everything else except the self and creation. Our people get scared to study, they get spooky. Oh, don't study that right there. They talking about astrology. Well, if the Most High didn't want you to observe these things, he surely wouldn't have put them out there in the heaven for you to look at. You know what I mean? We can't make this stuff up, family. So it says, marked and how to explore the vacant, vast surrounding. It launched forth filament and filament out of itself, ever unreeling them, ever tirelessly speeding them. It says, and you, O my soul, where you stand, surrounded in measureless oceans of space, carelessly musing and venturing, throwing, seeking the spheres to connect them till the bridge. It says you will need be formed till the ductile anchor hold till the gossamer thread ye fling catch somewhere, O my soul. It says, O man of the earth, watch well the steps. It says thou findest spread out before thy feet by cosmic plan. Do thy soul's best with body and with mind to pay thy debt and bridge this karmic span. So anyway, sometimes they be trying to sound too philosophical. But anyway, the statement of the Holy Writ that man is conceived in sin and brought forth in iniquity has a threefold meaning: chemical, physiological, and astrological. It says the real meaning in the original is that the human embryo remains 9 months in the female laboratory and thus falling short 3 months of completing a solar or soul year. It says it also represents the journey of the ego from the moon to the earth for conception. 12, which represents the circle or stands for completion. There you go. It says the word sin comes from shin, the 21st letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and means to fall short of completeness or understanding, wisdom. In the chariot symbol, S or sin is represented by the blind fool, one lacking in wisdom, brought forth in iniquity. It's merely a repetition of the words born in sin. Iniquity and inequity unequal mean the same thing. The ancient Hebrews called moon sin because it gave light to only part of the time. It gave light only part of the time. It says to acquire wisdom that will enable the ego in the flesh to build a bridge across a 3-month gap or space between the point of conception and birth is the one real problem that confronts the ego on the material plane of expression. The alchemists, seers, and astrologers of all ages have wrestled with this problem in their ceaseless endeavors to unravel the great mystery of man's dominion over flesh, whether it be the chemists seeking new compounds, the self-searching and testing the fluids of the fearful and wonderfully made body of man, the alchemists probing for the elixir of life, the ichor of the gods, or the astrologian pulling and adjusting the etheric wires that crisscross the spaces in an earnest desire to make good and sane the statement the wise man rules his stars. All, all are seeking to span the powerful space that yawns between the neophyte and the promised land of immortality in the body, where in my flesh I shall see God. So we already showed you that. It says, and when and where can he truly say, with the regard, parts of the regenerated Job, I have heard of thee by, it says, the hearing of the ear, but now my eye seeth thee. Yeah, you heard by God by people telling you about him, but now you can see it. Man must work out his own salvation. The bridge to be built across 3-month space, it says, must have mineral base on rock foundation. It says, thou art Peter, Petra, stone, a mineral. On thee will I build my church. etc. We see a solid rock of understanding is what we build a temple of perfected man. You see, same teaching. But this goes deeper because it's referring to a rock above your neck, in your head, in your brain. But that's a whole nother message. It says, thou art Peter, Petra, stone. On thee will I build my church. It says church is from the second Hebrew letter Beth, house, or temple. It says the human body is a house, temple, or church for the soul, which may be lost or saved by the higher self or spiritual ego residing in the cerebellum, the secret place of the Most High. Know ye not that your bodies are the temple of the church of God? It says there are 12 inorganic mineral salts in the human body, and these mineral stones in the temple correspond in vibration to the 12 signs of the zodiac. During the 9 months of gestation, the embryo receives and appropriates the creative energies of 9 of these salts, leaving 3 to be supplied after the parting of the umbilical cord. So you come with 9, but you have to come into the world and find out the 3 that you're deficient in. And this is how you raise the body to a higher tone. The cells, at least, we get some cellular respiration going on. It says, take, for example, a native born February 22nd with the sun's entry into Pisces. The embryo, having begun its journey in the gate of Gemini and negotiated in the 9th gestatory signs, his blood vibration at birth, thus deficient in the qualities of Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and also in the chemical dynamics of phosphate, of iron, phosphate, of potassium and sulfate, and of sodium, the mineral bases, respectively, it says, of the signs of this incomplete quadrant. Insofar as his circulatory system may receive these needed builders, the health will be balanced and life prolonged. The chemical union of these cell salts with organic matter, such as oil, fibrin, albumin, etc., forms the various tissues of the body and administers to the physiological needs as represented by the bridge, that the multiple cells may respond more harmoniously and completely to the magic touch of the divine energy, just as the tones of a musical instrument are made the more melodious, pardon self, it says, through the properly skilled manipulation. It says, and as bridge building in a mechanical sense, depends upon the plans or specifications of a competent civil engineer, so does the bridge of life depend upon the astrologian. It says to chart and compass the way. Our diagram indicates at glance the chemical formula that appertain respectively to the zodiacal divisions, but to give clear conception as regards their specific qualities and physiological action in relation to the various signs, referencing may be had to the following. It says, compend. The coming of Christ and the end of the world has been preached from every street corner for several years, and thousands are pledging themselves to try to live as Christ lived, or according to their concept of his life. No great movement of the people ever occurs without a scientific cause. The optic thalamus, meaning the light of the chamber, is the inner third eye, situated in the center of the head. It connects the pineal gland and the pituitary body. The optic nerve starts from this eye single. If thine eye be single, thy whole body will be full of light. The optic thalamus is the Aries planet, and when fully developed through physical regeneration, it lifts the initiate up from the kingdom of earth and animal desire, actually below the solar plexus, to the pineal gland. It says that connects the cerebellum. It says the temple of spiritual ego, but the optic thalamus, the third eye. It says by this regenerative process, millions of dormant cells, you keep hearing this being repeated after we come in here, right? Of the brain are resurrected and set in operation, pardon self. And then man no longer sees through a glass darkly, but with the eye of spiritual understanding. We venture to predict that the planet corresponding to the optic thalamus will soon be located in the heavens. The new order coming. Mars must be dethroned as ruler of the brain of man. To those who object to linking chemistry with astrology, the writer has this to say. The cosmic law is not in the least disturbed by negative statements of the ignorant individual. Those investigators of natural phenomena who delve deeply to find truth pay little heed to the babbler who says, I can't understand how the zodiac sign can have any relation to the cell salts of the human body. It says the sole reason that he cannot understand is because he never tried to understand. A little earnest, patient study will open the understanding of anyone possessed of ordinary intelligence and make plain the great truth that the universe, you and I, right? Verse, it says is what the word implies, i.e., one verse. It logically follows that all parts of one thing are susceptible to the operation of any part. The human body is an epitome of the cosmos. Each sign of the zodiac is represented by the 12 functions of the body and the position of the sun at birth. Therefore, the cell salt corresponding with the sign of the zodiac and function of the body is consumed more rapidly than other salts and needs an extra amount to supply the deficiency caused by the sun's influence at that particular time. In ancient lore, it says Aries was known as the Lamb of Gad, or God, which represents the head of brain. The brain controls and directs the body and mind of man. The brain itself, however, is a receiver operated upon by celestial influences or angels, i.e., angels, right? Angels, it says must operate according to the directing force or intelligence of its source of power. Man has been deficient in understanding because his brain receiver did not vibrate to a certain subtle influences. The dynamic cells in the gray matter of the nerves were not finely attuned and did not correspond, hence sin of falling short of understanding. From the teachings of the chemistry of life, see, we talk about the chemistry of mortal life, right? It says we find that the basis of the brain or nerve fluid is a certain mineral salt known as potassium phosphate or caliphos. A deficiency in this brain constituent means sin or falling short of judgment or proper comprehension. With the advent of Aries, Lord, God, planet, cell salts are rapidly coming into the fore as a basis of all healing. Caliphosphate is the greatest healing agent known to man because it is the chemical base of material expression and understanding. The cell salts of the human organism are now being prepared for use while poisonous drugs are being discarded everywhere. Caliphosphate is the special birth of salt. It says for those born between March 21st and April 19th. These people are brain workers, earnest, executive, and determined, and thus do they rapidly use up the brain vitalizers. The Aries gems are amethyst and diamond. It says in Bible alchemy, pardon self, it says Aries represents Gad, the seventh son of Jacob, and means armed and prepared. Thus, it is said, when in trouble or danger, keep your head. In the symbolism of the New Testament, Aries corresponds with the disciple Thomas. It says Aries people are natural doubters until they figure a thing out for themselves. The astronomer, by unerring law of mathematics applied to space, proportion, and so forth, discovered wheels and cogs of unit machine, pardon self. It says can tell where a certain planet must be located before the telescope was verified, before it verified the prediction. It says so the astrobiochemist, it says, knows there must of necessity be a blood mineral, a tissue builder, to correspond with each of the duodenary segments. It says that constitutes the circle of the zodiac. You know, it says not through quarantine, nor disinfectants, nor boards of health will man reach the long sought plane of physical well-being, nor by denial of disease will bodily regeneration be wrought, nor by dieting or fasting or flexurizing, pardon self, or suggestion will the elixir of life and the philosopher's stone be found. The mercury of the sages and the hidden manna are not constituents of health foods. Victims of salt baths and massage are bald before their time. It says in the alcohol, steam, and the Turkish bath, fiends die young. Only when man's body is made chemically perfect, will the mind be able to perfectly express itself. And the secret of this chemical perfectionment, it says, is the sum total of the requirements involved in this zodiacal bridge. The rock, Peter or Petra, must have been completed before the etheric wires that span the gulf between birth forward to the sidereal point of conception can vibrate in such harmony as to sustain the traveler on this magical bridge of three piers. It says, or the three zodiacal signs through which the material body must successfully function before it may hope to lift the veil of Isis. The bridge of life, a symbol of physical regenesis, has been exploited in song, drama, story, Paracelsus, and it says Pythagoras, and that's Lycurgus, and then Valentine Wagner. It says in a long and unbroken line of the Illuminati, from time immemorial, have chanted their epics in union with this riddle of the Sphinx, across the scroll of which is written, "Solve me or die." It says, of all multiple adepts or masters that have kept, it says, the lights burning above the three piers of the magical bridge, none has more clearly and beautifully written thereof than did the great astrologian poet Isaiah. The eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall a lame man leap, as it says, heart, and the tongue of the dumb shall sing, for the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. It says, and the glowing sand shall become a pool, and the thirsty ground springs of water, and habitation of jackals where they lay shall be grass with reeds and rushes. And a highway shall be there, and a way, it says, it shall be called the way of holiness. It says, the unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for the redeemed, the wayfaring men. Yet fools shall not err therein. Here we have the last step on the physical plane. It says that breaks down the middle wall of partition. Paul, then the ego, and able to regenerate by saving the word of God, the seed, and thus render further incarnations unnecessary. So they have the wheel right here, the plane sphere, and we're gonna stop right here, and we'll come back into this later and get into the sacred books of the East and so forth and so on, the book of concealed mystery. You find out that it has a lot to do with yourself. So, this is power when we deal with the chemistry of mortal life, the ministry of love and the mystery of the deific will. These 3 degrees of dealing with more science, family. You can see how, as it is above, so it is below, as it is within, so it is without, on earth as it is in heaven. What is the earth? The body. What is the heaven? Your mind. You see? So everything in you correspond with everything outside of you. This is why when our ancestors built the temples up in ancient Kemet, they built them in the structure of the human body, the human anatomy. Even when the Europeans tried to take this same science and remix it, they started dealing with vehicles and building different apparatuses based upon the way that we are structured. And that's what made our ancestors master builders, because everybody else tried to bite them and remix what it is that they taught. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's powerful, family. So what I'm gonna do right now, that's all I want to give at this point, and I'm gonna come back more and we're gonna build a little bit more. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drop this link in here just in case somebody wanna come in. All are welcome. Ain't no pressure. As long as one come respected in the measure, it's good. Let me see. I'm gonna put this here, and if our family don't come in, we'll shut this demonstration down and pick up in the next late night library session. Like I said, I've been trying to keep them short and cover a lot at the same time. So if anybody want to hit that demonstration, they can come in and give their portion. If they got questions, all is well, whatever the case may be. We're gonna give our family a little measure right here, and all is well. Telling your family, this, we ain't even playing over here. We gonna show you what it means to be one with the great God. We already told you. And when you deal with the concept of arm, leg, arm, head, you already see your link through the wheel of deific wheel right there. Now when we get down into the anatomy of the God body, that's a whole nother measure. So you have the ability to align yourself, we can say bring order to your own universe. Order out of chaos. And it all has to do with being rightly guided, under the right mind. So, yeah, this is powerful. I want to give honors to our family, too, that showed up. Brother Born Dog, honors to you, good brother. Honors to our brother Adrian Johnson Bay, anti-American, honors to you. Honors to our brother Gabri, checking in from London. Powerful. Well, all right. So our family doing their thing then, okay. All right, well, what I'll do is shut this demonstration on down there. All right, let me go ahead and share this screen real quick. I'm going to pull this track up. Let me pull this one up. Close this demonstration out. trying to find it. Okay. All right. Ain't got no whatchamacallit up there, so. Yeah, this is a throwback measure right here. This one go way into a whole nother measure. So, gratitude and long live the niggas, the kings, of Kush. Long live the niggas, the kings of Kush. Long live those who are never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. And that's what this song was dedicated to. I wrote this song probably been about 15 years now ago. It was inspired by our beloved brother Tupac breakdown, of the word niggas. And he broke it down into never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. It's called Personify.
See, time never was when man was not. How can you kill something that's everlasting? You feel me? You know what I'm saying? And I'm timeless, nigga. Y'all know what time it is. I personify this shit. Yeah.
If it's my destiny to live, I breathe for the streets. If it's my destiny to die, then just remember me. Cause real niggas return and we personify. Cause real niggas return and we personify. If it's my destiny to live, I breathe for the streets. If it's my destiny to die, then just remember me. Cause real niggas return and we personify. Cause real niggas return. Hollow proof, so don't possess a vest. I know you cowards are breathing threats in every breath. So many gasping for glory, forging these soldier stories. But a mercenary by blood, thugging until I'm buried. I've been AWOL since Pac and Big was assassinated. Stayed on my toes with multiple clips with secret agents. Often they casing my block, knowing this beast is lurking. Illegal searching for rocks, but that's just half the purpose. They plot to poison my DNA in a subtle way. With silent weapons for quiet wars, they test my faith. Because I'm living Islamic, will I be forced to ever? See, on my yells a war zone, but it's now or never. If it's my destiny to live, I breathe for the streets. If it's my destiny to die, then just remember me. Cause real niggas return and we personify. Cause real niggas return and we personify. If it's my destiny to live, I breathe for the streets. If it's my destiny to die, then just remember me. Cause trill niggas return and we personify. Cause trill niggas return. This battle's forever. You pastors and pagans are devils, suppressing rebels, fearing repercussions from Pharaoh. But I keep it thorough. Souls are prices because greed is the motive of many. Sunday morning collection plates, cop the rebels Bentley. After service, he strapped the keys, but not to the gates of heaven. So I curse him rather than bless him with my Smith and Wesson to serve my peoples to build. But if I must destroy, then I'll employ every effort. Call me the real McCoy. Cause I'm removing these obstacles with cop issues, addressing killers with cop pistols when Glock silver. Talent scream while being born, cause death is delivered. If I fall victim, it'll be sacrificial. If it's my destiny to live, I breathe for the streets. If it's my destiny to die, then just remember me. Cause trill niggas return and we personify. Cause trill niggas return and we personify. If it's my destiny to live, I breathe for the streets. If it's my destiny to die, then just remember me. Cause trill niggas return and we personify. Cause trill niggas return and we personify.
Yeah, family. So, most definitely we was full of energy back then, inspired, by seeing our people rise and fall, and so we always take things from, a lot of people don't know when you use the word rap, they don't know rap really mean rhythm and poetry. And so the young generation now, they lost the poetry. They got a lot of rhythm, but they don't have the poetry. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of the music that they put out become more harmful, than it can really inspire, and so sometimes our people don't like to hear the raw reality, of the way the world is, but yeah, they'll go spend their money, $30-$40 on a movie to see things even worse. You know what I mean? And so that say a lot about the people. That say a whole lot. So it's a whole bunch of ways that we can be destroyed, but only one way we can uplift. And that's the thing. It's by uplifting fallen humanity by any means necessary, using your talents to reach your people. The ones that can't hear it like we demonstrating it now, you got to give it to them, embrace them where they at, take them where they need to go at all costs. At all costs, family. Unfortunately, I can see more views on the information that has been put out in some of the music than just speaking, because you got different people, but nevertheless, we're reaching everybody. That's the goal, to reach the people, basically, wherever they are, and uplift them and take them into a higher state of consciousness. So we just say gratitude, family. It's all love, and I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here and lay it down. And yeah, we don't die, we multiply, we personify. That's right. So gratitude, family. We got some more coming. We're going to keep that heat coming. Like I told you, I'm telling you, I'm like the well of Zim now. I don't get tired. I don't run out. It's going to always be deeper and deeper knowledge. We're going to keep giving it to our people. And we encourage you all to stay up, stay on point, keep getting the people, giving them the knowledge. It's something in these lessons for everybody, family. The way I bring it out here is something in here for everybody. You see, and you don't have to subscribe to a particular doctrine. All you got to do is take what's meant for you. And I guarantee you, if ones were really listening, I done touch, ones in so many different ways, or maybe answer some questions that you may have had. So you take that and you build off it and then wait for the next measure to come through. You feel me? Still sharp and still. So gratitude, family, Shimo Tepu, peace, love, and law at all costs. And we'll see you at the next juncture. Gratitude. And peace to our family, to everybody that showed up.